glad to be here with you guys on this special night. It's an Alien Week going on, so we've got a few things we should talk about there, I think. Yeah, like I said, there's been so much stuff going on in space game news. I would probably break up and do a little bit more of the news tomorrow, but today I want to focus on Alien Week and what's going on there. So let's check it out real quick. This is a nice fun event every year that happens in the verse where we celebrate all those aliens that you never see in the game. Come on, CIG, what's up with that? They could at least put some alien NPC standing on chairs for us, right? But anyway, the aliens do exist in the verse. There are what are the races? We got the Vandal, which we know about, which are kind of a rough race. We have the Banu, which are kind of like the I guess they're like the cross between the Ferengi and the Vulcan. And then you get the Devarin, which are like the war race of birds. So really cool, rich alien lore in Star Citizen for you guys to check out. And they've really made this a fun event. As you can see behind me, we have the Alien Week page on in the background. Let's take a look at the new Alien Week video that they dropped, which looks also like a lot of fun.
Are you tired of the pain of the drudgery of the boring ship? Are you waiting for your lucky day? Well, hello, lucky humans. It's us, your average friendly Banu Suli, specializing and excelling mightily in procuring and selling of many great and amazing ships. So many good ships from alien worlds suitable for humans. Don't go there. We'll bring them to you. Comfy human seat. Not made of human. Probably. Humans love breathing. Our ship's full of atmosphere.
Yes, humans do love breathing.
Your next great ship is waiting. We have it. It's right here. Come on down. Today, voted friendliest Suli. 3 years subsequent. Davian 4 commercial chamber.
That might be one of the most awesome commercials I've seen in Star Citizen, to be quite honest with you. Very colorful, as you can see, and I think it's celebrating the theme this year. You have the colors of the Alien Week theme out there. Very cute video, and as you can see, they kind of tease that there are some skins for sale as well, too. So we should definitely check that out. So anyway, Blade at $275. Blade has never really been a particularly good deal, in my opinion. I mean, it's a cool ship. I mean, don't get me wrong. But the thing with alien ships, and we're going to talk about this a lot probably tonight, is that you have to pay that alien tax. It's not always worth it. But they do have an upgrade offer available. Let's check out what the upgrade is real quick. Only 6-month insurance, so that doesn't necessarily blow me away, to be quite honest. So we got two options here at $275. Wow, this is not a bad deal, actually. I mean, don't get me wrong, $250 is still overpriced. But if you were to pick up the CCU, you're basically saving $25 right there. And I'm going to have to do an episode on how to chain the CCUs together. But if you think of it as like a coupon, the discount to get your ship to the Vandu Blade, you're getting $25 off. And then if you upgrade that again with whatever discount, then you add that discount on top of it. You know, before you know it, you know, you could be chaining these discounts and you get like $100 off of whatever ship. But anyway, $25 off is the special upgrade price for the Blade. I don't think that's too bad, actually. But I really can't recommend purchasing this one just because, you know, I love to say the word passion purchase because a lot of my purchases have been passion purchases. But $275, it's overpriced. It's not really worth it for that price. But if you do have a Blade, and some of us do, come check us out later on in stream. Alright, the Banu Defender. This one might be the gem of the day. The Banu Defender is one of the few ships out here that actually has an interior that you can walk around in. I mean, they all have interiors because this is Star Citizen, but most are like cockpits. So outside of the Prowler, I think this is the only one that has an interior. It's got 2 beds and 2 seats, so you can have a crew of 2 in there. I enjoy flying this ship a lot. It's also got the best quantum in the game. So let's face it, you're still paying that alien tax. It's a little bit overpriced for what it is, but it is a really good ship. So if you must have an alien ship in your hangar, I think this is the one you might want to be targeting. Let's see what the offers are like. $20 off. So that's not bad. I might have to think about that. But these are great ships. I think anybody who has them will tell you that. And even just the base paint looks spectacular. Looks scrumptious. Alright, moving along. The Glaive. This is an interesting one. I don't see the Glaive on sale that often. I think, well, Well, somebody told me you had to like win the Van Duel thing in Arena Commander to unlock this. I guess that was bad advice. But the glaive at 350, I don't think it's really worth it for that price. However, if you're that guy who really wants a rare ship that you don't see that often, I guess this would be it. Even if it was available to me right now, which it's not, I just can't justify a fighter at that price. Moving on to a fighter you might be able to justify, the Car2 All. Now this is a fighter I knock every year for Alien Week if you were to go back and look at my videos. But it is really cool. It's got transforming wings, so when it's in the landed position, it doesn't look like this at all. For 170 for a light fighter, I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, it's a little bit more than what other light fighters will cost for the human variant. But I think with the maneuverability, and they're going to tweak this one more, if you're a racer, this might be the alien ship that you want to look at. So, I mean, this one's just okay, but I still think I would aim for the Banu Defender. Add a little bit more. And speaking of the Banu ships, the Merchantman. Wow. Luckily, I listened to my friend Bromway, and I got mine at like $300. I think when they had just done their first price hike on this. As they redesigned the ship, it looked like it was going to reach the size. Well, it has reached the size of one of the larger capital ships, like the 890 Jump. So it's basically like an Alien 890 Jump. However, it's going to have, I believe, shops on the inside. So it's a heavy trade ship, and it can carry a lot of cargo too. So I mean, this is going to be an awesome ship. I think I did an episode on redesign. If not, I really should. You really should go and check that out. But the only sad part about this is that it looked like this ship was coming, you know, really close to being released, and then all the devs that worked on it quit CIG. So that kind of left this ship on kind of like hold. So nobody really knows when this one's going to come out, when they're going to get back on track with this one. But I will say, if you're thinking about this ship, it's probably going to increase in price again. It is basically your alien capital ship, but $650, that's tough. Do they have any upgrade deals on this? Wow, $50 off. So I mean, that's not bad if you were to chain it up. But it's still kind of pricey. I don't think most people are going to go into this price range. But yeah, very good ship. I do feel like the window to have gotten a deal on this one is probably over though. But if you are still on the fence about it, it's only going to increase in price. I don't like the 6-month insurance though, so I'd recommend somebody would upgrade this from a LTI token. I know people have mixed feelings on whether LTI is worth it or not, but for me, for a capital ship, you definitely want LTI, right? If you want to, basically, if you're going to buy a ship, because you can buy all these in game, and you will be able to whenever the game is released in the year 3020 or whatever. That lifetime insurance I don't think is going to be available anymore, so one of the advantages of buying these ships now is probably that lifetime insurance, so I would get that on my capital ships if it's me. But that's my feeling on that. Anyway, the Nox, $45 for the hover bike of the aliens. This Xeno bike is really cool, one of the most maneuverable ones, but it's super cheap in game, I believe, so you really can't, you know, I really can't recommend anybody spending $45 for this. But if you have it laying around and you just want to have it, I know I'm that guy. It's not a bad purchase, and it is a really slick looking bike. There used to be another variant to this one. I think the Nox Q. I haven't seen that one for sale anymore. I'm not sure what's going on with that. If anybody knows, leave me a comment. But anyway, those are your Noxes. And the Prowler. Ugh. This one is a tough one for me. I don't like it. It's a drop ship, so I mean, it really doesn't fit my style of gameplay, but it's a ship that really is relegated to only doing drop ship activities, and that's not really a thing in the game right now, so it's kind of hard to justify spending $440 on this. You realize that this costs more than a Reclaimer? And a Reclaimer, at this point, now that salvage is in the game, is a really good, you know, arguably capital ship, class ship. I mean, I know it's not quite a capital, but it kind of, I mean, it's massively huge, so I kind of feel like it is. But, yeah, this ship isn't going to make you any money. It flies really well. It's got Tavaran hover technology, so I believe it's supposed to be able to hover along the surfaces pretty well. And it flies really well, but Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think this is a ship of the month, so I probably have one in my hangar that I might take out a little bit later. Let's see what the offer is on this. 3 options. That's unique. That's because of community subscribers can get it for $410. I don't understand why this is a deal, because these two are just, it's just the regular price, $440. Anyway, I think if you were to stack a few of these CCUs together and get to this ship, you could get $100 off whatever your final ship is going to be. I don't think that this is a ship that I would recommend buying in game, though. I mean, buying outside of game. I would recommend buying this one in game, just because it's a cool looking ship, but it's just there to carry people around. Oh no, I'm wrong. Sorry. How could I forget about the railing? This one here is actually, I think, a good deal. It's going to be a cargo ship, kind of like a blockade runner, from what I understand. It has a tractor beam on it for detachable storage containers. Gosh, when they debuted this ship, I did a video on it, so maybe I'll throw the link of it for it up here if you're watching the replay on Twitch. But $225, I don't think it's really increased in price that much since they debuted it. The only thing is now if you buy it, you're only going to get the 6-month insurance. But if you're into hauling cargo, I forget what the maximum capacity is on this guy, but this might be a nice, decent option. It's got a nice, luxurious interior on the inside as well, too. But $225 is a kind of reasonable price for a cargo ship. If you're into hauling, like I am. If you're not into hauling, then it's not your jam. But I even think that it's going to be kind of comfortable to carry people around in this as well, too. Now I'm thinking hard, is this a better deal than a Bandu Defender? Technically, probably it is. But yeah, $225, I think that's an okay buy. I'm kind of okay with that. And a Santuki Eye at $220. There's a Inside Star Citizen video that was just dropped on this one. I kind of want to check it out to see what they say about this. I believe the ship is getting closer to release, but I won't know for sure until we watch that ISC. But this is going to be the Alien Heavy Fighter. I think it's going to be awesome. $220 might be a good deal for it, but tough to say right now. I don't really know a lot about it, so maybe after we watch the Inside Star Citizen, we'll see. And the Talons at $115. I believe there's a starter ship offer for this one, isn't there? Yeah, so the Talon comes in 2 variants, the Talon and the Talon Strike, which is just a missile boat. They're really kind of cool. They have transforming wings like a lot of alien ships do. And this front part here detaches as like an escape pod, so that's pretty cool as well too. I kind of like them. $115 is probably a little overpriced. They probably should be around like $80 technically, but you know, alien tax, right? I don't think it's bad though, but I would see if you could rent this one in game to try it out first. Let's see, and Bass says the loaners for the Railin are the Constellation Taurus and Cartual. Well, that's not a bad combo. Might be worth it to grab that Railin now, huh? Anyway, that's going to do it for the alien ships, it looks like. It's really hard to recommend any alien ships as far as like buying with real world money because of that alien tax. But I think the fan favorites here, are the Defender at $220. But keeping in mind that the Defender is $220, that really makes the Railin look kind of juicy at $225, right? And especially with those loaners that Bass just mentioned, not a bad deal. Anyway, let's take a quick look at what they have to say on ISC about the Santuki Eye and see if it really is something we should be considering at $220 in the color red too.
All of the exterior has been basically gray box modeled out. We have the majority of the animations finished. I'm actually currently repolishing the landing animation and in-flight animation and a couple of other really cool things that we haven't shown before. But yeah, the bulk of the geometry has been modeled out, and we're about to get ready to start doing material work and palms and all that good stuff to make it look beautiful. But unfortunately, we can't quite move on to that stage yet until we really nail down what it is that we're going to be doing with the
really
dashboard.
Early stage.
I mean, that's part of the process. We want to make sure that
everything
is dotted and crossed. What's the expression? I don't know.
You mean cross your eyes and dot your
cross your T's, dot your I's.
Cross your T's, dot your I's, yeah.
Cross our T's and dot our I's.
One of those.
I need to run this back a bit. Tell us that failing gray box is a semi-normal thing.
It isn't the most common thing that happens. I would say it happens less than 50% of the time. I don't have exact metrics for that, but in this case, it's just there's a lot going on right now that we're working on in the background, and we weren't able to get the level of support that we were hoping to get in order to really iron out the plans for this specific asset. But it happens from time to time. We know exactly why it failed. Everything else on the ship works. This is just one very specific issue that we have to deal with.
You failed.
Oh, we fail them all the time. Basically, there's something that's always just, needs to get fixed or pointed out. And what we do usually is we'll, afterwards, we'll post videos, post screenshots, and be like, hey, here's this thing that was wrong. We fixed it. Can we pass now? Do we have to have another meeting? We might have to have it run through it again. But usually it's just minor things.
100%. Yeah. I mean, and we almost got the pass, but it's just there's too many unknowns from a visual standpoint to really move forward in a comfortable way.
I'm hearing a lot of excuses here.
It worked. The review gate worked. It blocked us from putting in something that's unfinished, basically. But we tried.
But I'll give him a break because he's got a New York Yankees cap.
Because we knew that was going to be missing, and there was no way we would have the time to get it in on time. But hey, man, sometimes you got to see what you can get away with and realize you can't, and then go back to the drawing board.
Don't say drawing board.
Well, it's not the drawing board. That's true. We're not going back to
Thanks
the
for
drawing board,
clarifying that they failed the gray box now.
Design work that we have to establish. What will be cool, though, is we do have a few ideas already for what we want to do. Hopefully it doesn't take us more than a week and a half to establish a direction, and then another week and a half after that to
it's going to take a year and a half,
the asset.
Be honest.
But it'll be nice because this will then establish the look and feel for Alpoa specifically, right? Because we do have different manufacturers even within the alien lines, and so we want to make sure that we differentiate Alpoa. So that would be the Scout, now the Santokyai, and any future Alpoa ships from any other Xi'an manufacturers that we might be working on. So this will help us establish that look and feel for the dashboard specifically, and we will want to retroactively then add that to the Scout as well.
Just admit, it does look pretty cool.
Name another company that casually discusses failing internal reviews. Go ahead. I'll wait. Assuming, of course, that this episode even airs.
Well, pretty much any company that's had to admit that they had a security breach.
Every single time.
So, besides having to figure out a new dashboard, I assume everything else is going well? What do you like so far about the Santokyai?
I like the aesthetics and the way that we've kind of made the wings and the thrusters work, because the thrusters with the Fury, we actually got
very much like the
thrusters where they actually spin forward, and
very much like the Car 2L's thrusters.
With the actual main thrusters. So I was getting to mess around with the thrusters and how they worked and tuning them and trying to figure out how far can I take this? Can I make them go every single angle under the sun, or should I be restricting it? Should I change it so when it's in landed mode and it's in the more compact mode, should they still be able to go in every sort of direction, or should I restrict that more? So I was just getting to mess around with that was pretty fun for me.
I think the thing that I'm having the most fun with at the moment is how far we're really pushing the anti-grav tech that Xi'an have. So that's a common thing. That's going to be a common feature across all Xi'an ships, regardless of manufacturer. We've sort of identified that as a core pillar of Xi'an technology. And so regardless of manufacturer, they will all have that. And then there's a couple of other things that we need some engineering support to do, but will really sort of bring the asset to life in an interesting way. We're hoping to get a lot more movement on the wings as the ship kind of moves around. So just the basic idea of making the vehicle feel like a living, breathing creature as a whole. That's the thing that's super fun. But it's hard, man. We need a lot of support to get that working. And if we can get it done, though, I think Alpoa is going to be a very unique manufacturer, because I think it's going to feel very different than everything else we have. Also, there's a lot of times there are things that I think are very easy to do, and then I'll speak to an engineer and they're like, actually, that's fundamentally different than the way ships work. And I'm like, oh crap, okay, well, I guess I got to figure out another way to do it. The the most fun part, honestly, about the Santoki Eye, just in general, is we are trying a lot of new things. So we're stepping into areas that we haven't done before. And so there's a lot of risk involved with failing, essentially, where it's like, okay, we might try something and either it doesn't turn out well, or internally people don't like the way it looks, or we can't actually do it. Like, there's so many of those questions at every turn with the Santoki Eye, but we've been creeping forward, and overall the asset is looking awesome. I'm just hoping we can cross that finish line to like the full vision that I have.
Yes, please cross the finish line, please.
Thanks for your time. So yeah.
All right, yeah. Before we get into the whole C, so they did say Santoki Eye is scheduled for release near the end of the year. I believe I just heard. So I don't know. Does that change your mind about buying a Santoki Eye? Let me know in the chat, guys. All right, now let's talk about the whole C. I forgot that they touched on the whole C in this episode here, but this is a ship I'm really looking forward to. Although, I must be honest, I don't see how it's going to fit in the current trade system.
Musashi Industrial. Hey, John Crew, are you there?
Hello.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. The whole C.
Yep.
This thing's been in development for a while. What's been going on, man?
Well, how long have you got?
Try to keep it under 2 minutes.
Okay. Hull C, for those that don't know, is like the big 18-wheeler of the Star Citizen universe, designed for transporting bulk cargo around the stations and between solar systems. We started it, I want to say 5+
Feels like
years
a
ago.
40-wheeler.
We got so far on the art and design side, probably early grey box. And then
It's a lot of cargo containers.
The sheer amount of technical challenges with this ship became apparent. We put a pause to it. We thought, we'll come back. The teams that need to help us have more important things to do at that point in time. There was object container streaming going on. So we're like, that's more important. We'll sort that out. We'll come back to it. And the last year or so, we've come back to it and had to deal with all those big technical challenges for the ship.
And how's it doing today?
So where are we?
What can folks expect?
You can expect the ship working as we intended it to be when it was concepted. So it's quite a unique ship in the game. There's a lot of moving parts literally on it and some tech in there that you've never seen before in any ships. So primarily the hurdles revolved around that central spindle section that you can walk through whilst it's doing those animated
It's very
states.
miskin there.
We've essentially got 2 parts of the ship that move independent, or they're animated together, but they're independent parts of the ship, and a new way of loading cargo onto the ship.
I want to talk to you about that. So one of the big questions since this thing was first introduced is how the cargo loading and unloading is going to work in Alpha 320. Who can tell us about that?
I think we can probably get Chris Tanks on the line. Oh, excuse me.
Chris who?
Sorry, Jared. Excuse me. Hi.
Hi, Chris Tanks.
Hi, Jared.
Okay.
So how does cargo work for the Hull C in Alpha 320?
So in Alpha 320, the Hull C behaves as we expect it to. When it's extended, when its cargo arms are out, it can't land. So it can't take cargo in the normal sense that any other ship that takes cargo does while it's landed. So
Guy's like,
you go to
no
the
way.
cargo terminal, you buy as much cargo as you want, you set it to the Hull C, but the system recognizes that it can't spawn the cargo while the ship is landed. So you get in your ship, you fly it out of the hangar, and then contact ACC again. That is when the ship realizes, oh, I'm out of the landing zone now, I'm ready to take some cargo. So you extend it, contact the ATC, and the cargo will spawn on your ship then.
It'll magically spawn cargo.
While it's collapsed, it'll fit
Sure,
in
why not?
the large spec hangars. When it's extended, it doesn't fit in any hangar we have at the moment.
You can dock it though.
It can be docked at any station.
Has anybody tried to dock it when it's fully extended?
I'm still triggered from our docking
I mean,
episode with the 890 last time.
You would hit the extent of the cargo long before your landing gear touched the ground. It would not be pretty. Well, I mean, somebody will have done it, and it will have been a magnificent explosion. But
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I see people
so
doing
we've
this.
been looking at images of the new Hull C.
That poor boxer is like, no!
Which one of you is going to talk about how it looks?
Probably Ben.
You don't have Ben back here, do you? Hello. Take a seat, Ben. Hello, Jared. How are you? There's no way they're letting me do this with an episode ever again. Ben, talk us
Guys
through
are
it.
just
The whole
popping
scene
up all
looks
over the
great.
place.
It's been a while getting there.
Yep.
Tell us about it.
So as John mentioned, it's been in development for a while. We kind of stepped on it and stepped off it, depending on what tech we needed. I think, in our game we talk a lot about kind of gold standard, but really with the whole C, it's kind of like current standard. So what we want to do is make sure that when we release the ship, visually,
it's got a captain's chair.
It ticked all of our kind of current processes and
Very
and,
Starfarer-esque.
really, it was on par with everything else that we put out now compared to where it was kind of back in the day. I think some of the other kind of updates we've had to do to kind of maintain it over the years is just the kind of like the simple things like
When this comes out, you guys may never see me again.
Ships, which we never had back
I'll
when
just
it
be
first
space
started.
trucking alone
so
in
making
this.
sure all the panels are accessible and open and close and animate, making sure the dashboard's all interactive and all those fun things that everyone's used to now.
What are some of your favorite parts? What are things that people should look out for visually?
I think, to be honest, the ship is a very industrial ship, and it really kind of feels that way. There's some like little things that I just love, like the main kind of airlock entrance into the ship feels really big and chunky and strong, which I think is needed
big
on something so industrial. And that kind of industrial language kind of flows throughout the ship. I think.
Am I right? Do these feel like the ships from the Expanse? Like, I always felt that way about the Hull A. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but when it's extended through the spindle, it looks like it could be a Belter ship.
My kind of
Getting some
main
Belter
favourite
vibes
place is
here.
the engineering in the rear. The whole rear of the ship is kind of dedicated to really encompassing that idea that you are on a big workhorse. There's big engines, there's massive pipes. It feels really kind of like nice and moody and a little bit dangerous. And I think that's kind of really
very
helps
homey, though.
sell what's going on the outside of the ship, but inside.
Well, that all sounds great. So, what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the Santok Yai is still making its way through the ship pipeline for an intended release later this year.
What this guy's doing?
What are you doing?
Just looking for drinks.
That the whole sea looks great, and it's intended to arrive in the upcoming Alpha 320 with modified cargo loading and unloading. That inviting people into your ship and calling people for an interview less than an hour after they failed their
seems
donor
very
vote
awkward.
is either the best thing or the worst thing that you can do, depending on your point of view. And that it's Alien Week, and you should check out the RobertSpaceIndustries.com website and socials for all the various promotions, activities, and contests that usually go along with it. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee with Chris, John, and Ben. Thanks for exploring the process of game development with us, and we'll see you all here next week. Almost certainly back to the regular format.
All right, that was kind of strange. Looks like there's more though. A strange ending. I mean, it was good ship content. Okay, I spoke too soon. It got stranger.
I'm just gonna get going.
Cheers, Sarah.
Aye.
Why did they do this? It's very, very awkward.
That's it?
Yeah, this guy is... that guy's kind of like echoing how I feel about this. Anyway, going back to some comments here that I saw from chat.
Engineering.
I think Scarlett says that the cargo spawning is just a placeholder for drones coming out. That's kind of your theory on that one. That's a good theory. Hadn't thought of it. Hopefully you're right. I would like to see little drones flying around and loading up your ship, and you have to like stay in orbit for a while for that to happen. Because it just doesn't seem like, I mean, for a game that talks so much about immersion, it just doesn't seem right that you just fly out there and it just spawns, right? Something that huge. I love this, by the way. I'm like, oh, that poor dude. I mean, we've got a lot of troublemakers in our crew. It seems like something we would try to do. Let's see, other comment. The captain's chair. Yes, I hope they show that part again. Hopefully I didn't skip that. That did kind of stick out right away for a space trekker ship to have that captain's chair. One thing, though, one impression I kind of had, and I was kind of waiting to see what the answer would be, is how does this ship defend itself? I mean, there's a remote turret here, but I still feel like it's going to be like pirate bait, you know? I mean, it's not going to be able to move very fast. I imagine the quantum drives are going to be pretty slow on this thing. Right? What if a mantis shows up with a bunch of pirates on the outside? Won't that jam it? So it seems like to me that you're going to have a good crew working with you. Bank transfer, that's how? Just pay them off? Yeah, I think so, right? I mean, there's not much you're going to be able to do. So, I mean, I have one of these ships. I'm pretty excited about it, but I am a little concerned about my safety out there. But it will make for some good episodes. Anyway, I think that was enough talk about the ship talk and all that stuff. And speaking about a good episode, let's get into a good one. Our Alien Edition.